Hey, hey, I guess I should have played the intro. No one knows we're supposed to be here, but this is River City Media, Reckless Speculation. We're going to combine shows. Howie Cheney's on his way here, too. Robbie Davis is joining me after about 3 hours and 40 minutes last night, a mediation all day in court. So, Robbie, you are the MVP of this broadcast. And for that, you receive your own River City Media shirt.
Hey, it was a great draft, great opening round of the draft. Yeah, not much sleep, but got the case settled for my clients today. They left happy, and so all's well that ends well. And yeah, so on to today.
Those River City Media shirts are available for $20. Please contact me through the website, and I will set you up with them. Robbie, two stories as we wait on Howie that's happening. We are now almost at the third round. And the picks that are coming up is no one, unless somebody trades up. San Francisco's not taking a quarterback. Kansas City's not taking a quarterback. Denver's not taking a quarterback, or Buffalo's not taking a quarterback. We literally will not have a quarterback taken in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, so look, I've been poking fun at you during this whole draft
We've
prospect.
been, yeah,
Being like-
we've been going at it, but I never
yeah,
dreamed this.
but you're not wrong because the NFL invited these people there. They put cameras in their homes. Like they thought they were going to get drafted too. Not the first round, I don't think. Because Pickett, none of them were at. Oh, was Pickett in Vegas? No, Pickett and Willis were in Vegas.
Willis is still in Vegas.
Yeah. Was Pickett in Vegas or was he at home? I can't remember.
I don't think I saw Pickett.
I know he had a crowd around him. But I couldn't remember. Willis was in the green room or whatever. I don't know.
Who thought he was going in the first round?
Yeah, so this isn't you. I didn't think. I mean, this is kind of what I thought. This draft class isn't great. I am surprised the third pick, the Falcons passed on Willis. I'm starting to get surprised, and so
that one really got me.
So it makes me wonder something in the interview room that's off because at this point, at round 3, you're picking players that are projects, and if you need a quarterback, why wouldn't you pick him? So there's something behind the scenes, and I've heard zero reporting. I haven't heard any. Mel Kiper's had Willis as his first rated person for the last half hour, so it just makes me think something went wrong in these draft interview rooms.
So, hey, welcome aboard, Howie Cheney. We'll be right to you. We're talking about Malik Willis, who has been living in Atlanta, who is now in the third round and hasn't been picked. Howie, well, back to your point, Rob, before I go to Howie. He scored a 35 on his Wonderlic, so that's usually a red flag for everybody. 35 is a huge score in the Wonderlic. Howie did not. Were they not people wanting Willis at pick 8 in Atlanta last night?
Honestly, I didn't hear the first person say anything about wanting Willis.
Okay.
Everybody I've talked to, and I talked to quite a few people, they were all talking about defense. They wanted an edge rusher. They wanted defense.
Well, they did get an edge rusher we'll talk about here in just a minute.
Right.
Now, the other thing that's eating at my soul is Nakobe Dean has not went yet. And we're at pick 61, and I think he was as productive as anybody on the Georgia defense. He does have an injury, Robbie, but you're getting to places now. You're projecting players.
Kansas City sitting there in 2 picks. That'd be a nice spot for them to swoop up and grab him. Yeah, he's 17th ranked overall, and he's fallen into the 60s. If the Titans come back up and they don't pick him, I will be upset. Yeah, no, I mean, at this round, yeah, it's all value, and good Lord, to get that kind of a player, unless the doctors have said something that hasn't been released, that's a steal at this point.
It's mind-boggling. I don't know the situation, but it is mind-boggling to me. Now, Howie, the Falcons did pick a quarterback. Brett Anderson is the former starting quarterback of North Dakota State. And it's funny, Robbie, if you didn't see the video, most of the video, the middle linebacker the Falcons just picked was him playing quarterback at North Dakota State. But this guy evidently dominated the Senior Bowl and shoots up the board. Howie, the Falcons desperately needed a linebacker.
Well, it's kind of like getting a utility player in baseball. We don't really know what position he may end up playing because they also showed him playing running back, quarterback.
Yeah. And they also brought up a little bit, could this be Taysom Hill 2.0?
Right. They don't really, we don't know what position he's going to end up playing. We do need linebacker help, but that wasn't his really strong position that he played. He can go side to side. He's got speed, but he doesn't have the toughness. What's the word I'm thinking about? They say he's got finesse, but he don't have the physicality.
He needs to play more linebacker.
Well, let me ask this: Can you pair him with Cordell Patterson and make some extreme formations to make defensive coordinators have nightmares?
You could, but now I was watching Charles Davis, the former Vol, and he said no matter what the hype is, the Falcons drafted him to be a linebacker, Howie. And I think you may see him, especially in goal line, Robbie, but I think the Falcons think of him as a linebacker. So we'll see. Let's go back a little bit, and we'll touch. What do both of y'all think of the Jets' move to get Brycey Hall early in the second round? With them drafting Michael Carter last year, kind of surprised me. They've now spent 2 high equity picks on running backs, but Hall was my number 1 running back that I thought would be a star. Did that surprise you any, Howie?
Well, to be honest, I just now started watching the draft tonight because I've been out more in the yard and stuff. So I'm trying to get caught up on the draft, but from what the Jets did last night and seemed like what they've done today, a lot of people saying the Jets is actually winning this draft by getting what they need and is probably going to be one of the most improved teams coming into next season.
To me, Robbie, they got the best running back, the best tackle, and the best cover corner.
To me, the Jets are winning the draft. 30-minute special. The Jets are winning the draft tonight, or thus far. They have drafted smart. They have played their hands right. They've got 3 draft picks in the first round that are top 15. Like that's a great draft. And the 2 first picks they've got, at some point in time, they were each rated the number 1 overall pick. The Jets have been killing it.
That's accurate. And I know you're stretched for time, Howie. Let's stay with Robbie for just a second.
That's fine.
We'll while you catch up on the background, Robbie, let's go to the Titans. Let's talk about the Titans in general. I read articles today that had everything from an F grade on the Titans to an A- grade on the Titans. After all the smoke cleared last night, after everything was settled, I think Chain, her friend, finally come to resolve that this was a good move. Where did you end up? Chiefs are up right now. I do not be shocked if this is Dean. Where did you end up with the Titans draft? And of course, they go quarterback in the second round.
I'm not thrilled with it. Look, the Titans have drafted 4 receivers in the last 5 years. Only one's made the Pro Bowl, and that's A.J. Brown. They traded him. And so now you want us to trust you for this pick to be better than A.J. Brown. I don't like alligator arms when you're picking up the tab. And that's what I feel like the Titans just went alligator arms, and now you're wanting to build a new stadium. And so to me, reading the tea leaves, look, the AFC is loaded, right? Buffalo, Kansas City, Denver now, Baltimore, Cincinnati, everyone's loaded. It seems to me the Titans ownership just said, whoa, let's take a step back on paying players because we don't think we can win right now. So we're going to take A.J. Brown, get a cheaper version. Hey, we may make the playoffs because our division sucks, keeps people happy, but we're not going for it anymore. And that's my takeaway from yesterday.
Right. I do love the second move the Titans made to pick up 3 extra picks, including pick 35, where they took Roger McCready, who had a first-round grade backside. I'd seen him to places, at 30, high 20s. That Titans defense should be much improved now, coverage-wise, I guess is the right word.
Right. We need cornerbacks. We need defensive backs. We need defensive ends. You have to play defense to win the AFC, but man, you've got to score. Like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter, man. You've got to put points on the board. You can't let a known commodity like A.J. Brown walk off that field for a rookie and let's see what we got. It's just my opinion.
I've got for you, right?
With
the Titans kind of going from a Super Bowl contender to a rebuilding stage, what do you think Derrick Henry's thinking about all this?
Yeah, and that's and we just paid him like crazy, and so now you're thinking, hey, if you're Derrick Henry, you got 3 or 4 more years left. I mean, he's gonna get paid, but yeah, are you running through a wall for a team that is? It looks like rebuilding. Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking. I can't imagine. He's doesn't have to collect your money type person. He wants to play. He wants to win, and so. Yeah, there's going to be some difficult conversations coming up, I believe.
So it seems like you're speechless and you're thinking Derrick Henry's probably speechless too, wondering, what have I got myself into?
Well, yeah, because what the Titans just gave away was the opening up the field for Derrick Henry. So now if you're playing the Titans and you're on defense, you're loading up the box because nobody can beat you behind you. And so you've made Derrick Henry's job 10 times harder. And those 200 carries a year, they get harder and harder without any space.
The one thing, and back to your point, Howie, I want to ask you about this as a reference to the Titans, though. The one thing the Titans, I said on air last night while you were traveling back, might avoid right at this point is the mess that is in Atlanta. Maybe they shorten their rebuild because now they've cleared $100 million in cap. They've went young. Really, it was a year of contracts that put the Falcons in the mess they're in. Did they close their window but open their rebuild window faster? Because the Falcons are clearly in a 3 or 4 year rebuild right now.
This could probably be one of the fastest rebuilds you can probably possibly see in the NFL because of the amount of cap space. They're getting some of the needs. Everybody in Atlanta was wanting interior linemen, offensive and defensive interior linemen. But after this season, they're going to have that $100 million in cap space. They can go out and get the proven veterans and bring.
But we're year 2 already, though. It's going to be fast, but last year when we started with Julio, don't you think the rebuild started there?
Some people may say that. I think the rebuild started when they traded Matt Ryan off this offseason because they were basically going to have a brand new team get in the field this year.
I agree with that.
The only players you're going to have on the offense that was there for the Super Bowl run was Jake Matthews.
Yeah, and Seattle tried to keep Russell Wilson, rebuild around him. It just doesn't work that way. Like
It don't. It don't. It don't. Running back James Cook to Buffalo, which is another puzzle. Robbie, does that mean you're going to draft 3 Buffalo running backs this year?
you can never have enough Buffalo Bills running backs. Never.
All right. One question I want to ask both of you, since these moves have been made, what do you think? The Titans are back on the clock in about 6 or 7 picks. Where do they need to go? I mean, the high value pick, they're immediately up. Where do you go? If Nakobe Dean, if he's still there?
I'm going to hate myself for saying this, but I'm not even sure I can bring myself to say this. But
Desmond
if
Ryder.
we are rebuilding, then Jesus Christ, just draft one of these quarterbacks. Just give it a go and see what happens. Like, I just don't understand what we're doing. I don't like. We're paying for Derrick Henry, but give him no help. We're paying for Tannehill, give him no help. I don't know what's going on. Like, so yeah, just go ahead, 4th round, grab one of these quarterbacks and see what happens. And I'm mystified.
Howie, I tell you what's mystifying to me about the Falcons. Either they love Felipe Franks or they really believe Marcus Mariota is the future of the franchise, or they're tanking. Which do you think it is?
I think they're holding out for the next year heavy quarterback-laden draft. And back to the Tennessee Titans for a second. If they were going to be in the NFC, their rebuild wouldn't be that hard because they've got a good, solid defense. You don't have to score a ton of points. But being in the AFC,
it's a whole different world.
All that, it's just like playing the SEC against the Pac-12 and all that. You know, you got one that's totally defense oriented, and you got one that's going to be offensive oriented.
Absolutely.
But
so to your point, the Falcons rebuild does get easier because being in the NFC. Matter of fact, if Tom Brady had left Tampa and stayed retired, I don't know who wins that division. It is such a train wreck in the other 3 teams.
Yeah, well, and Tom Brady's leaving next year. Whether he's retiring or he's going to Miami, he's gone from Tampa next year.
Yeah, and that division becomes even a bigger train wreck. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk real fast about the Falcons, and I cannot say his name. Go edge rusher early in that 2nd round with Arnold. We'll call him Arnold E. from Penn State. Similar McGrady in that the Falcons got a late first round value. Exciting to me. I needed it. Howie?
Yeah, well, I mean, you say he's a late first round, end up getting in 2nd, but I mean, in this draft, going by Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and everybody else, they had everybody all over the board. So you don't really know, one of the picks I saw earlier that as soon as I turned the TV on, Mel Kiper and the Booger and Lewis was all arguing about. They were saying he's an all-pro tackle that was picked, and Mel Kiper's like, I don't even know why he got picked now. He should have been in the 5th round. So this pick is so wide open, you can't really go by the experts. But by the that the Falcons got, he's called Dr. E, I think is what he's called, or something, Dr. A or something.
I'm not saying his last name.
Yeah, but anyway, we got to get some defense. We got to get some help at the linebacking core. So, they felt like
they've made 2 straight defensive picks. So, do you go defense in the 3rd round?
I mean, it depends on who's available. The way this thing is, if Malik Willis is still there in the 3rd round, they may take him.
I've been trying to get him drafted since pick 5.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie. And I know you're running out of time, but I do want to get your comments on this. The Packers, the Green Bay, the Packers have drafted a wide receiver. They move up and they draft, I guess, the fastest player in the draft, Christian Walton. He ran what, a 4.26 or something ridiculous, or 4.3. I don't know. That's not the fastest player in the draft, but evidently a speed burner. He ran a 4.3 at 6'2". What's Aaron Rodgers' mindset now? Is he pleased with it? I mean, he's got to be pleased, but is this? It's kind of a thud to me.
Yeah, no. What he's thinking is, are you kidding me? That's what you get me for the money you're paying me? I mean, they drafted 2 defensive players. They get this speedster. Unless he's Deshaun Jackson. And look, defense, when you trade away Devontae Adams, like it's one thing to have a speedster, but you have to have someone to counterbalance that so the safety can't just cheat up. Like you can have the fastest person in the world, but they're gonna if there's no one else to protect him, then they're just gonna back up and double team him. Like the Packers, the fact, like they want to say, or a lot of people say, oh, it's a great organization, it's stable. No, it's not. Look, they've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for the last 25 years. They've won 2 Super Bowls, 2 in 25 years with great quarterbacks. Joe Flacco. The Ravens have won 2 with Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco. That's a good organization. The Packers are not.
I got a trivia question for you, see if y'all can answer it. Who was the last first-round offensive pick for the Green Bay Packers?
First round?
Yes.
Javon Walker. Eddie Lacy.
Was it Randall Cobb?
From what I saw earlier, Aaron Rodgers is the last first-round pick offensive Green Bay Packers.
That's not true.
Insanity.
They spent a first-round pick on Jordan Love.
Oh, they did.
Well, okay.
I got him on that one. Nobody was thinking that.
Just to back up their last first-round pick.
Okay,
so their only 2 first-round picks are both quarterbacks. Oh, wow. Think about that.
All right. Raise the question then. Who was the last help that Aaron Rodgers got in the first round?
Javonte Walker?
No, I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean,
all right,
Aaron Rodgers and Derrick Henry should be on the phone talking to each other and consoling each other because they don't have a clue what their team's really doing right now.
Pick 66 is in. This is one of the spots people have been talking about. One of the quarterbacks going Minnesota. Been a lot of talk. I don't know. They just spent a pick last year on a quarterback.
Isn't Kirk Cousins making like $50 million a year still?
Yeah, they do not take a quarterback. Who's it going to be? Somebody's taking a quarterback.
It's going to be Seattle. Seattle up here is going to take one of them.
And then,
what about does Houston not need a quarterback?
No, Houston needs everything. I think it's good. I bet it goes Seattle and Indy back to back, 2 quarterbacks.
Well,
that could be.
Houston's got the 68th picks. They're on the clock, so they could actually get one.
They've traded for it because right now on my draft, New York's up next.
Yeah, I got New York, Cleveland, Tennessee, Jags, Chicago, Seattle, Indy, and Atlanta.
Yeah, so somebody's moved a pick because Cleveland's now at 68.
Okay. Guess they got traded then.
And then Houston moves back to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, moves back 13 picks. Atlanta's got 2 picks coming up in the next 15 or so. So,
all right, I'll stay with you guys to Tennessee picks, and I gotta go.
All right, and then Howie will stay to Atlanta picks, and then we'll get out of here. So, I appreciate you guys joining us. Last night was a marathon, Howie. 3 hours and 45 minutes in, I was about like, I'm going. I don't even want to say the word football anymore.
Yeah, after after the pick and everything, they waited about 3 more picks, and then one of the people got on the loudspeaker and said, "I don't know, think about your what do you think
Did
about
you?
your pick?"
I'm
Whenever-
sorry. Did you hear Goodell announce the numbers last night?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
The viewers, 30 million viewers last night.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
I know.
That's bananas. The NBA playoffs got like 2.4. Like it's hard to fathom how much more popular the NFL is than
15 times to watch the draft over a playoff game.
Yeah.
Howie, go ahead and tell that story real fast. About 4 picks later, they go, "How do you think? What do you think of Drake London coming to Atlanta?" And what happened?
Yeah, he got booed bad. I mean, not him, but they just didn't like the pick at all. You know,
Rod,
when the pick first announced, it was like you heard about 10,000 people saying, "Who?" They wasn't expecting a wide receiver to be picked at 8.
Raj immediately went USC like on us. He was immediately like, I mean, I think we got a great player. I'm kind of like, whatever. You could have told me we were drafting any player at number 8, and I said they could have helped us. You know, it's not like you have to be picky as a Falcons fan. You could have said Howie Chainer, punter from Sylvania High School, and I'd went, hey, he might could help us.
Yeah, I mean, it was that the ones that cheered for him were the ones that had been there for a couple of hours and had a adult beverage or two, and they, my name could have been announced and they would have cheered for me.
Yeah, but they could have been on a podcast, I know too, because they had a few adult beverages about 3 hours in.
But after the ones that actually wasn't and was there to see what was going on, it was like, who? And then people got up and left automatically because they was kind of upset about it.
All right. Cleveland's picking. Tennessee's after that, pick 69. I'm screaming. I know we've joked about quarterback. There is no way at pick 69 they can let Nakobe Dean fly by them, needing outside linebacker help.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't get it.
I mean, they need linebacker help.
And I mean, unless he's failing his drug test, I don't get why he's not being picked.
And I mean, he's got to be filling them with hard stuff. You could get picked with pot.
Oh yeah, for pot, that's just that's just your one straw. Because you get a freebie and then you just move on.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have some like heroin in his system or something to fall this far.
Oh, so by the way, while it was a commercial break, wait, what happened with the Dodgers pitcher? What? I've totally missed this whole thing.
He is accused of.
It's got to be more than accused, though, right? They suspended him for 2 years.
He's not been to trial and convicted in a court of law.
Whoa, domestic violence, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a sexual-related domestic violence charge.
So he's just been accused of this, and they suspended him for 2 years?
I do not think he has been convicted in a court of law. I don't even know he's been charged in a court of law yet. And he can reach you at Davis Kessler Davis.
Yeah, I mean, that. Look, hey, I don't promote any domestic, any violence at all.
Nope.
But there is due process.
You are walking. If he has not been convicted, you are walking. Yeah. Hey, and I don't want to get past Cleveland either. Not only did they add Deshaun Watson, they added Amari Cooper. They've added some offensive firepower. But what we saw from Amari Cooper, he's not 43 years old, Julio Jones. He can still play.
Well, and let me just interject. I'm not sure if y'all saw this or not, but Mike Greenberg was interviewing Roger Goodell and asked him straight up, hey, what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson? What do what's the policies? And Goodell, who's usually, boom, we're throwing the hammer down, was very much like, well, we're still investigating and it's going to go to a, group of arbiters, and then they're gonna make a decision, and then that's gonna be the deal. And Greeny was like, "Well, so you're not involved in the decision making anymore because the collective bargaining agreement." He said, "Well, not necessarily. I mean, I can be if I'm the last appeal guy, but I no longer ruled in the appeal." And just the way he was saying it made me think that Watson's going to play this year.
Oh, absolutely, Watson's going to play this year.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're like, hey, the criminal justice system did their thing, and they didn't find anything. We're not going to find anything, so let him play.
Do y'all feel like that's why they kept Baker Mayfield just in case he does get suspended?
Yes.
Yeah.
All
100%.
right. Cleveland Browns pick, and he's a good football player. This is one of the guys I kind of had that I was going to talk about for the the Falcons. Martin Emerson, Mississippi State, a pure corner. The Falcons don't need pure corner, but they need a third corner. He is a big, huge, physical corner. Goes to the Browns. And now, here we go. The Titans are on the clock. No Kobe Dean, choice to the quarterbacks. Robbie, Robinson just called you and said what I need to do right here.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore. Like this draft has been wild. I think, let me see who's best available. What do we have? What do we have left? I know it's a bunch of quarterbacks. No, I go into Kobe Dean, and then if I get pushback from them, Travis Jones, and then if I get pushback, I guess Malik Willis, but I don't want to. I hate that I'm saying this. I've pushed back on it all week and a half long.
I've been riding this one for a while. If Malik Willis doesn't go to the Titans here, my whole weekend's going to be upset. I think it's Nakobe Dean, unless
it's got to be Nakobe Dean. It's got to be. I don't know who this guy is.
He's an actor.
I wish they would just go up and announce the picks. I don't need this theatrics.
Nicholas,
I don't need to know
Piet Fiore.
As people on here talking about what other people don't want to talk about or don't want to know about, I don't like them talking.
They go somewhere they needed help though. They go tackle the big Ohio State, the second tackle from Ohio State, Nicholas Piet Fiore. Robbie, they need tackles.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, we're going to the triple option. It appears like get rid of the receivers. We're just going to run triple option.
You bringing in the wing T?
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we got a friend that's won 400 games running the wing T. We can hook you up with him.
Hey, I like it.
All right, Robbie. I know you need to go spend time with your lovely wife after yesterday.
And my fireplace. All right, Howie, thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you later. Howie and I will be on through the Falcons pick if you get anything, Texas. Hey, if Malik Willis goes to the Falcons, you got to get back on. Howie, I think we need to take quarterback. I really do.
You know, they have to know what's going on by other teams, and that may be why they hadn't reached out to a quarterback yet, because they know that they could wait till this 74th pick to get who they want.
So I think who they want is Desmond Ryder. I don't think it's Malik Willis. And I've heard too much talk about Desmond Ryder. Chicago is not picking a quarterback, Justin Fields. Seattle has Baker Mayfield. Seattle could take a quarterback here. Chad Moon, Wyoming linebacker. Back to the Falcons, though. I do like what we've done in the second round.
Yeah. You know, we've always said that with Matt Ryan being there, hey, he can't do it all. But that second pick in the second round that we had, we got a player that can basically do it all now. So, but yeah, I feel like he's going to be linebacker. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek type deal earlier when I said,
I think he could play third down quarterback. I mean, goal line quarterback or global. I really think he could.
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, if you're going to do that, could you move Felipe Franks on somewhere else?
And you still got to have a backup. I just don't know if Felipe Franks is good enough backup. I mean, they talked about him all during training camp. Sorry, folks, this is about to turn into Falcons talk now with the Falcons up the next 2 picks or 2 picks in the next 10. Do you think Seattle with Drew Lock need to take a quarterback? Because I do.
Yeah,
I really,
they're
really
at
do.
the stage as well. It's kind of strange. You got the Tennessee Titans trading away all their wide receivers. You got the Seattle Seahawks that's traded away their quarterback and got some good receivers out there. Just who's going to get them the ball?
Right now, best available, N'Kobe Dean, Malik Willis. I think the guy's name's Todd Jones from UConn. Christian Harris from Alabama. Matt Corral from Mississippi, who I do like a lot. I think he's the best quarterback. And then some quarterbacks. The Bears are up. You've got to think they've got to get Justin Fields some help here. Don't know that their running back situation is set. They do have a couple of young backs. The Falcons did sign a wide receiver. I went Demir Bird at Chicago before coming to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Robinson walked.
But some of the ones that Atlanta signed wide receivers hadn't played a ton. They hadn't had a lot of touches, so you don't really know what to expect from them. But with Chicago, we know it's not going to be a quarterback because
No, but I'm thinking it could be a sooner or later. Sooner or later, they've got to run out of wide receivers. They've been 27,000 of them picked.
Right. It could be a running back. We're getting to the point where running backs are probably fixing to come off the board.
Isaiah Spiller is still out there from Texas A&M. Somebody I wouldn't hate Atlanta getting. All right. Come on, Chicago. This seems like they might be doing something here. Chicago, Seattle, India, and Atlanta. You could get a run right here of Seattle, Indy, and Atlanta all taking quarterbacks.
Very, very possible. And could Atlanta be thinking, everybody's thinking we're going to take Malik Willis, but that's not who we really want. Wait until it's off the board to go after the one that they really want.
Desmond Ryder has been the one that I've heard talked about even more than Willis in the newspapers. And we get information from 2 different sources, of course, but I kind of read a lot of the Journal-Constitution. So that's the place that I've heard Ryder talked about more. The Bears pick is finally in. Velus Jones Jr., University of Tennessee. I called a receiver going there. I didn't call Velus. Velus to transfer from Southern Cal to Tennessee. Very productive, Howie. Also, Velus is a great return man. So the Bears get a first-class return man and a productive receiver, first-team All-SEC, all-purpose, and return specialist. I like that value there. And he's not a bad receiver. It's not like a Cordell that he's not a receiver. He was just a returner. He's a receiver at heart.
All right. With all that being said, let me ask you, how's that going to translate over to the NFL? How do you think he will do in the NFL?
I think he's their kick returner, punt returner the day he walks in. I think he is a third down situational receiver this year. Velus would not have been drafted last year. He was that productive. One of the stats they have up, Howie, was 3rd in the SEC in yards after contact as a receiver. He's 6th in the SEC in missed tackles, made tackles. He's very elusive in the run. I mean, once he's got the football in his hands, he is a smaller Cordell. 2 years in Tennessee, he went from undrafted to he just went in the 3rd round. And how you think about it, last year he had 2 kickoffs for return when that's not even a thing anymore. I mean, if it's
Right.
rare you see that ability.
Right. Yeah. The way everything's set up now, most time everybody just takes a fair catch and nobody tries to turn the kicks and all that stuff. So that's good. And he done this on rebuilding Tennessee Volunteer team that nobody really knew what to expect.
Yeah, and I mean he was the one walking in the door last year. You knew he was the one receiver that we had. In his first year at Tennessee, he was mainly a return man. I mean, he played some receiver, but he wasn't that productive. He is a return man that Seattle is in with a pick. I just got a feeling this is the first of the quarterbacks. Um, we'll see. I really thought somebody was going to come up and take somebody early last night. I was preaching that for like 6 hours.
Well, I was fixing to ask you when was the last time there's an NFL draft that in the first round there was only one quarterback taken?
1997.
Was it really?
Yes.
And who was
It was the first time that there was only one quarterback took in the first 40 picks. Now this is 72 picks in with one quarterback. So,
who's the quarterback back then? Do you know?
the quarterback taken in 97, they said it early. I don't remember.
Okay.
I know the next year was Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning. So I want to. It wasn't Tim Couch. It was the number one overall pick. Oh, Jamarcus Russell. No, it wasn't him. I'll look it up real fast.
Somebody pulled up. I saw earlier today. Today marks kind of like an anniversary to when the Oakland Raiders at the time gave Jamarcus Russell a tape to go home and study. And they came back and said, "What did you think of that tape?" He said, "I learned a lot." And
It was blank.
was blank.
Yeah.
So that proved right there he wasn't watching anything.
Let's see here. I am on the good.
I enjoyed going to the draft party, but I miss seeing a lot of the draft stuff and learning more and more and the crazy facts that you hear. They've got it on the Jumbotron there or the Halo board there, but you don't get to hear nothing except for the pick.
I'm looking right now to see who that quarterback was.
And I give y'all guys a lot of credit because when I was standing there, I got on and listened to y'all some, and y'all would tell me basically who y'all thought was going to be picked, and I tell everybody around me who I thought it was going to be, and majority of the time I was right, and everybody thought I was a genius by knowing who was going to be picked, but I was just saying who y'all were saying.
Jim Druckenmiller was that quarterback.
Are you serious?
Yes.
The last time I heard that name was probably back in 98, 99.
All right. Seattle's in. We're slowing down now on this draft. Can you make it another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 picks, and we'll call it a night?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
I'm gonna cook hamburgers in 10 picks. I'm starving.
It was a late night. I got home around midnight, but I took a power nap this afternoon.
We were on the air until 11:35 or so last night. I was dead. Seattle takes Abraham Lucas, tackle Washington State. India's up. Let's talk about India. You know what, Howie? And Indy's my second favorite team in the AFC. I'm going to pull for Indy. I can't help but pull for Indy. Matt Ryan really needs to have some success at Indy.
Yeah, and they got him some help earlier today too, drafting the wide receiver. And who knows? This could be a part where Indy sees a quarterback that they want to put behind Matt, kind of be a tutor for.
Yep, and the one that comes to mind is Sam Howell was the number one quarterback going into the year, clear number one quarterback. Now we're at pick 72, and after a horrible year at North Carolina, is still open. I'm watching the NFL Network, and they have a list of the quarterbacks up right now. The Colts are in. Kenny Pickett remains to be the only quarterback selected, 73 picks in. The Colts are in with the pick. The Falcons are next. Let's see if we got a quarterback. I think the Falcons need a backup quarterback. I don't believe in Filippo Franks. Here we go. And I think the one that Matt Ryan most emulates is Sam Howell. If you want to draft Sam Howell and set him behind Matt Ryan for 4 or 5 years, this is a place you can get him.
Right. I don't think you can set him that long because of by that time his rookie contract will be up and he'll won't get paid.
Well, I think Matt Ryan wants to play several years, but we'll see. You don't know. The window, when Jonathan Taylor is gone, the window closes for Indy anyway. So the Colts, I don't know what that was. Somebody walked out and fell off another one. A player that was on my Falcons board, Jaylen Woods, tight end from Virginia. When I said that on the air, everybody was like, what do you mean the Falcons are going to take another tight end? And they've got Kyle Pitts. Jaylen Woods is 6'7.5" tight end. The Falcons play a ton of 2 tight end, Howie. And they lost Hayden Hurst. They're going to have to come out with another tight end somewhere in this draft, right?
You would think so. You know, they got a couple of backups that are there, but they could possibly go with another tight end. And I think if there's somebody available, I think they go interior line, offensive line. Mayfield played pretty good last year, but I don't know if he can cut the mustard.
I thought Jaylen Woods would have been a great pick here. Here, Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Alice Pierce, and Jaylen Woods goes. God, Matt Ryan just got another weapon, man. 6'8" tight end. And who did Matt Ryan love in Atlanta? Tony Gonzalez.
Right.
The Colts look ready.
Tony Gonzalez.
Pick is in. Here we go.
Who knows when they'll announce it, though? They'll probably go to a commercial.
No, I've got it live.
Okay.
Desmond Ryder, quarterback, Cincinnati to Atlanta.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Robbie, there you go. The Falcons take Desmond Ryder. That's been the quarterback I think they were taking the whole time. And they get him in the 3rd round. I think if you would have seen Malik Willis and Carson Strong and some of those guys come off yesterday in the 2nd round, this is the Falcons' 2nd round pick. But after he doesn't go, none of these guys go. The Falcons, to me, got to steal Howie. This was my number 2 quarterback in the draft.
Yeah. He's rated high by everybody. He was one of the few players that pretty much everybody believed would have been a 1st round pick. And being able to get him here 3rd round, that is fantastic.
He's mature. And the criticism is he's not played top competition, but he did get Cincinnati into the college football playoffs, and he did play Alabama, and he did play he beat Notre Dame. He has played Ohio State. He has played competition.
You know, they talk about all this
12,000 career yards.
Yeah, competition, all that. That don't mean nothing. I mean, look at some of these guys that played against great competition, did great, but then when they fell, they busted. AKA Ryan Leaf. You know, it's one of the first ones that come to mind.
Desmond Ryder had Cincinnati on the verge of beating Georgia 2 years ago, played Alabama in the playoffs, beat Notre Dame 6'3 1/4, 211. Howie, I do like something that's up there that we don't talk about with a quarterback a lot. Ran a 4.5 40.
Well, with the offensive line we got, he needs some wheels. You know, he got to be able to get around. You know, great.
I'm super excited for that pick.
And with the fact of Mariota being not a very high-priced quarterback at the moment, he could come in and fight for the starting position.
In the perfect world of me, you play Mariota in 22, and you've not invested so much in Desmond Ryder that he cannot, you can go quarterback next year. If you got a chance for a Bryce Young or something, you're able to do it. Kids from Louisville, 43-6 as a starter at Cincinnati. And you know what? More than anything, Howie, he's got a chip on his shoulder right now. You can see it in his eyes. He is upset he didn't go to 74.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not watching at the moment. The way I've got everything set up, I can't really watch. So what I am fixing to do is log into Twitter and see how the Falcon Nation responds to this.
Here is a trade. Houston has come back up and traded, and they are on the clock. You did talk about Houston and a quarterback. Of course, they drafted Davis Mills last year in the second round, or no, the third round. It looks like they've traded up to get a pick. Again, the Falcons pick again in 2, 4, 6, 7 picks. They have gotten their quarterback. I am thrilled with this pick.
Yeah. So far, I'm excited about Desmond Ryder coming to Atlanta. Everybody likes.
I love it. And we might get Malik Willis right here in the next couple of picks.
Oh, yeah.
Christian Harris, linebacker, Alabama, the Texans straight. That's a good football player. Now, the criticism of the Falcons locally is they never take Georgia players. If you can get a Nakobe Dean, who's the slider of the draft here in a few picks, God, that would be a popular pick in Atlanta. That sells seats.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what everybody talks about is talk about, everybody in Atlanta, they want a Georgia player, but they just don't bring none in. You know for a fact, and I've told you about it, when they went out and even though they didn't bring them in or didn't draft them, but when Todd Gurley came in and played for that one season, he probably had one of the top selling jerseys in Atlanta because everybody wanted him in there because of being from Georgia.
And he's taking place up.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we are 5 picks away. And let's see who's on the Baltimore's, Indy, Cleveland, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Giants, and then the Falcons again.
Okay, I'm seeing a tweet here that is people, for the people and probably for you, wondering why Dean hasn't been drafted and fell off the board. They're saying that the combination of his size, medicals, and how the combination of those project his durability have prompted the slide.
Yeah, so, I mean, he has some injury problems, but at this point, you're getting to the point, and I agree with everything they said, Howie, but at this point, if you can get a possible Pro Bowl player, it's worth the gamble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at this point. That's kind of what they're getting at. Hey, why are you going to waste a first or second round pick on somebody that could end up being like a Brian Bosworth and end up being out of the league in 4 to 5 years?
Nakobe Dean can play football. No doubt he can play football. The top 2 player on males, I just switched to ESPN to see if they had anything about Desmond Ryder. The top 2 players on the board are Nakobe Dean, Malik Willis, Channing Dingle from Alabama. I think you need to watch out here for the Falcons to possibly take. I know I really like that. There's a defensive tackle, Winfrey, that's still on the board from Oklahoma. Also, there is one more elite tight end. But I think, the Falcons did go defense. Now they've went offense. I would almost like to see them go back defense and look for that tight end later, Howie.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a feeling it will be a defensive player on this next pick coming up because that's one of the things that we really need a lot of help in.
Y'all don't realize. I'm ordering me a Desmond Ryder jersey tomorrow. That's my new boy.
It's it don't matter how many points you score in a game. If you don't score, if you can't keep the other team from scoring more than you, you're not going to win. defense still wins championships, and we're, like Arthur Blank said a little bit earlier today, he felt like we had one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. So, he's going to give him everything to work with to bring a championship to him.
But going back to what we've said all weekend, there's no one player going to fix this situation.
No,
it's going to take a group of them. The Ravens are on the clock right now. The Ravens have had a very good draft, in my opinion. They've added defensive help. The trade of, I don't know if you saw it, they traded Marquise Hollywood Brown yesterday.
Yes, I heard about it yesterday, and I just read about it now. As far as Lamar Jackson is not happy at all.
No, it's the one down the field speed threat that he had. But think of this. The Cardinals now have Zach Ertz, Hollywood Brown, A.J. Green, and D. Hop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be the new run shoot of the NFL.
Yep.
But, yeah, and it wasn't necessarily that they took a weapon away from Lamar Jackson. It was because Lamar Jackson and Hollywood were best friends.
Yeah.
And
Ian Rapoport, I can't hear what he's saying, but they're doing something about Malik Willis right now. I don't know if they're saying he's going somewhere or but yeah, that relationship was very close.
Yeah, but Lamar Jackson has got to realize this is a business. Yeah, it's great to play with your buddies and everything. This is not the NBA where people can just go and play with each other whenever they want to. He's got a business. Hollywood's traded away to make room to try to improve the team.
If you have you went and looked at the poor Brandon, he came back to earth, but he mailed it originally when it trade happened. He mailed it. He was like, I got to get off the camera. And I mean, literally went off camera for like 10 minutes. The Ravens selection is in. The Miz made the Cleveland Browns selection, by the way. I didn't mention that earlier.
Really?
The Miz made the Browns selection. And what's the guy that slid underneath the ring?
Don't shut up. I'll be laughing. But yeah, I did see Titus O'Neil do the Tampa Bay selection.
Travis Jones, that defensive tackle from Connecticut, he was up the board. He goes to Baltimore. Baltimore continues to build that defense. I really like what Baltimore has done on defense. And we would be remiss while we got just a second not to congratulate Cole Strange from Chattanooga here. If you've not read his story, Howie, Cole was a Farragut Admiral in high school, committed to Air Force, went to Air Force for a few weeks and went through the plebe training, didn't like it, transferred to UTC where he'd been committed before committing to Air Force. Cole has been there 6 years. He's even took his COVID year, and he just played himself into being a football player. And 2-time Southern Conference Blocker of the Year, and he's going to go play for Bill Belichick, and he's going to have a wonderful life. And congratulations, Cole Strange.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't see a whole lot of picks last night, but when I saw that today where a UTC player got drafted last night, I nearly sent you a text to see if you saw it, but then I thought, well, I know he saw it because he's watching the draft. But I was wondering what you thought about that pick.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled for the kid. The tackle with a first-round grade from Central Michigan, Bernard Raheem, has gone. He slides. I'm saying his name wrong. It's like Rayman is gone to the Colts. Matt Ryan gets more help now. He gets somebody to protect his right side. They are heavily investing in Matt Ryan's future in Indy.
Well, I mean, when they had Phillip Rivers up there, 2 years ago, they had a great run. And then, they took a step back with who was it they had last year? Goff or
Carson
Wentz, kind of took a step back, but they were just a quarterback away about 2 years ago from winning the Super Bowl. or at least.
Yes. Before we get off of it, I just want to mention that they're going through the Central Michigan kid. He has served 4 years in the Austrian Army, too.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe it was 2 years, but I didn't get it. But he's a tight end that moved to tackle, former military, served in the Austrian Army. That's a neat story. All right. The Cleveland Browns are making a pick. Falcons are 5 away. I'm 5 from cooking hamburgers, Howie.
Yeah, it seems like this third round is kind of slowed down compared to the
Second round. You're right.
and it's supposed to be the same amount of time. But I guess it's because everybody's so uncertain as far as who they want and who's available at the time that they're taking up the whole 5 minutes. Where in the past it was like pick us in, pick us in, pick us in. Let's move on.
We talked about. Yeah, I agree with you. We talked about the Falcons taking Kyle Hamilton early yesterday. There's a couple of pretty high-profile safeties still on the board here. Could the Falcons look safety and sure backside of the defense? I don't know who the highest rated corner is, but I would sure like to see us get a corner in.
Yeah, it'd be great because we got AJ Terrell on that one side, and he seemed like he stepped up last year and played allowed less yards and everything. But could that stat be misleading because he was the better of the two corners that was out there, and everybody just picked on the other corner that was over there?
Well, we're going to find out. They've already signed a corner in free agency.
Right.
So, I mean, they've improved already at the corner, but I don't even know who our fourth corner is. If we have to go deep, I mean, that's the thing about it. You're building depth right now, too, that you got to get through the season with. UAB, Alex Wright from UAB, second team all conference, 6'5", 271, goes to the Cleveland Brown. UAB is another school we kind of call home schools because UAB, of course, saved our friend Phil's life with his liver transplant just down the road from where you live. Great school, great kids for the most part. Alex Wright from UAB goes.
And think about it, just what, 6 or 8 years ago, UAB football was non-existent because they shut down for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they're coming back and having people drafted. That's fantastic.
The Chargers are up next. They've done a lot to help that defense. And could they go? I mean, I almost feel like they need to do something. Maybe receiver here, maybe tight end, or of course you can not go wrong at any time protecting a young quarterback like Justin Herbert.
Right. Yeah. Right now, I think with Chargers and Broncos and being the next 2 picks, I feel like we're going to see defensive players coming off the board because I think on the offensive side, both teams are pretty much set.
The Giants will be interesting. All right, here's the Chargers pick in.
Yeah, with the Falcons, it's a coin flip as far as who they're going to pick because you don't have a clue.
Of course, the Chargers took a guard in the first round, Zion Johnson, as we said, to protect Justin Herbert. Of course, they traded for Khalil Mack in the offseason. They also took a rush in this draft. And you feel like they've been pretty balanced. No one can overlook Khalil Mack as a part of, if he's not, I mean, when I look at these drafts, I add in the trades of the picks and stuff. You just added a perennial all-pro pass rusher to your team. Got Khalil Mack for a second and a sixth. That goes into this draft. That's a huge get to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at this here, I'm on the NFL draft tracker, and they're saying that the Chargers needs offensive line, defensive line, and wide receiver.
I think they could use wide receiver. I really think they could use wide receiver.
You got the quarterback. We'll give them some help.
They drafted Josh Palmer out of Tennessee last year in the 4th or 5th round. He played a lot of football, but they have 2 very good wide receivers in Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But
Right.
Allen is well into his 30 now, and Mike Williams has dealt with injuries throughout his career. Highly productive, but I don't know who's left wide receiver wise, but it would not shock me for them to go offensive line or wide receiver here.
Could be Jaylen Tober out of South Alabama.
I've been waiting for Jaylen Tober. I was kind of in the back of my head thinking maybe the Falcons can get to him here in the third round. We have a tie to Jaylen, and of course, might get him on the show at some point. 3 picks away from it, and right now, I think he may be the next wide receiver on the board.
Yeah.
If it's Jaylen Tober going to the Falcons, I'm going to have an extra. I'm going to have a double hamburger. I'm going to put 2 patties on it.
Well, you're going to have a double hamburger anyway, so.
We didn't have to call me fat here on the air.
Well, no, I didn't. I just saying you like. There's a difference.
Yeah. Of course, we're missing AEW right now. Did you watch any of it before we came over?
No, not at all.
I'm going to watch it when we get off here. Well, who am I lying to? I'm going to watch the draft first, and then I'm going to. Because I think they're only going to go through the 3rd round tonight, then 4 through 7 is tomorrow.
Yes. How do you like this new format that they're doing it instead of doing it all day Saturday and Sunday?
This is my 2nd year of covering the draft on River City Media and through Reckless Speculation. That first round's a lot of drama, and honestly, I haven't got to watch the coverage, but I really enjoy that first round. There was a ton of stories happening yesterday.
Right. It
So
seemed
many
like,
trades.
yeah, it seemed like it because, like I said, they turned the volume up to when they announced the pick there, but then after that, it's just like they turned the volume down, so you're having to look up there at the big Halo board to just read stuff and all that, and it flies by so quick it's hard to read everything.
That one of the safeties I just talked about for the Falcons, J.T. Woods from Baylor, goes to the Chargers. That's one of the 2 safeties that was listed in the best players available. Highly, highly productive, a track star at Baylor. Goes to the Chargers. The Falcons are now 3 picks up. Broncos will be on the clock. Did the Broncos, I mean, as soon as they got Russell Wilson, everybody said, this is a Super Bowl ready team. And to me, it is. They have some luxury to maybe take some picks. Maybe even build. I mean, they've got great receivers. Maybe even build on that. Let me give everybody a fantasy value. Jerry Jeudy will be a monster with Russell Wilson next year. After all these years with Drew Lock, he's been lost in that shuffle.
Yeah.
You give me Jerry Jeudy with with Russell Wilson next year.
Right. I'm looking at the draft analysis, and they're just saying it's unusual that you only see 2 needs for a team, but they're saying with Denver they need a tight end and a cornerback.
They did trade Noah Fant in the trade to get Russell Wilson. There's one elite quarterback, tight end left up from UCLA. That's a good point. I didn't think about tight end, but that is it. Greg Dulcich, tight end, UCLA. Boy, we're a pretty good team. Greg Dulcich, walk-on wide receiver, explosive, compares to Owen Daniels, 6'4", 234 from UCLA. I think I'm gonna take credit. Called that one. We called that one right before it happened.
Yeah, you sure did. So let's see if we can do it again for the Giants. Let's see what their needs are. They're saying that the top needs for the New York Giants, and it's kind of hard to believe, offensive line, linebacker, and tight end.
They did lose Evan Ingram, and that's where you saw maybe Denver went before New York gets that tight end. I don't know who is even playing tight end for the Giants. Ingram is in Jacksonville now with Trevor Lawrence. I think the Giants, somewhere like the Falcons, you can't go wrong as long as you get a good football player.
Right.
Let's give the Giants Let's give Giants an offensive lineman here. I don't see one on the best available, but let's give them offensive lineman.
There's a offensive tackle from Minnesota in the top 8 that I'm looking at here. Daniel Faalele, Faallele from Minnesota.
The Giants take Cordell Float from LSU. Good player, Howie. He was very he got lost at times because he played with some other. He's a cornerback, and he played with some very good cornerbacks at LSU.
Well, yeah, because we saw the 5th pick last night. Stingley, 4th pick, come off the board that early. So when you're playing with a top 5 pick, you're going to get lost in there every once.
All right, Atlanta Falcons are up now. You know what? I would like to see them take. No, the Giants are up first. Hold on, they're confusing me. The Falcons pick is in. The Giants, they're showing the Giants fans. Falcons pick in. I'm gonna go with it. Call it.
The top needs is quarterback, which I think they addressed that a while ago. Linebacker and wide receiver.
Who's top linebacker on the board?
Let me pull it up and see real quick. I'm sorry.
Jacoby Dean from the University of Georgia. Let's see who they get.
I think he was the best linebacker available at the time. Yeah. And actually, this is the trade from Indianapolis Colts for Matt Ryan.
D'Angelo Malone, edge rusher, Western Kentucky. The Falcons have now double dipped on trying to get that defensive line straightened out.
I think the interior defensive line for the Falcons is set with Grady being there. They do need some help on the edge, and so I think this is going to be a real good pick because I've heard a lot of people talk about this kid coming out.
2-time Conference All-American player, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 17.5 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, led the Conference USA in the tackles for loss. Very productive, a little bit rangy, a little undersized, maybe needs 20 pounds. But, God, nobody has spent more effort trying to fix rush in than Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, absolutely. They've tried.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I agree with you. They've tried everybody. I mean, I hate to say this, but they actually called me to see if I could help them out on that. That's how desperate they are at the moment.
I think they got 2 different ends because they get the bull rush end. Now they kind of get a speed guy. I kind of like that combination. But Mr. Chaney, it's been fun joining. I thank you for joining us. I think we went a little longer than 30 minutes.
We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes.
Well, we go a little longer than we planned sometimes, but I'm trying to get it off the screen here. But any words you want to say about the Falcons draft up to now?
After the Ryder pick for tonight, Desmond Ryder, the defensive help we got tonight, I'm real pleased with the draft so far.
I am thrilled with the draft. Our 30-minute update turned into an hour, 15-minute River City update. I could sit here and do every pick, but I weigh 300 pounds and I'm hungry. For Howie Chaney, Robbie Davis that left, we may surprise you with 30 minutes somewhere tomorrow at some point. We'll see. This is Randall Cunningham, and you're watching River City Media.